morning, I'm Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations that are 501c3 nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they are here to give you updates on future projects. Let's make some new friends today. Yeah. Tucson is a little out there, geographically, culturally, completely, and that's exactly how we like it. This is where misfits built something magnificent, where the desert shapes dreamers and being different isn't just accepted, it's required. We're the fusion of cultures that created something entirely new, the result of overcoming and being overlooked. A place where originality is demanded and authenticity is what really matters. Here you don't need to pretend, you can discover who you actually are. The land grounds you and the community embraces you, giving you a place to just be. This is Tucson. We don't ask you to fit in, we invite you to stand out. What an amazing message from Visit Tucson. Visit Tucson is a nonprofit organization that works to attract leisure visitors, group meetings, sports events, travel media, group tours, films, commercials, and photo shoots to the Metro Tucson region. They are the official destination marketing organization for the city of Tucson and Pima County and partner with the Tohono O'odham Nation and the Pascua Yaqui Tribe, as well as more than 500 members throughout the community. And today, I'm fortunate to speak with multicultural marketing manager of Visit Tucson and executive producer, Czarina Nafarrate. Czarina, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm very excited to have you. Old friend, she's not as spooky as some things might have you.
Exactly.
No, not the spookiest girl, no. And we've got a friend here as well, director of photography, Alan Davis. Thank you for joining us here today. Welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Thank you so much for having me, Frank. It's awesome to be back here.
I was going to say, welcome back.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. It's great to see you again.
When were you here last? It was actually about a year ago. And what was that film?
We were talking about the documentary that we did, Growing Tradition, that was on the light show that the Tucson Botanical Gardens put together.
Wasn't that something? And I went to that light show, and it was magic. And that episode you can listen to anytime on demand over on Lifestyle Tucson on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Blip Blab Zips, or all the places that great radio shows turn into podcasts.
And you can see the documentary on Amazon still.
Exactly. And I was going to say, go check out that amazing documentary because we've got these fantastic filmmakers here in town and a great organization that supports all these filmmakers. And that's what you're doing right now by really talking all about the history of Tucson, celebrating our 250th anniversary. What a great time and what a big, big deal to watch these videos and learn all about it, because half my personality is I love Tucson. But then you watch these things, I'm like, I don't know anything about this place. So it's really nice to learn about it. And what great documentaries, because they're 5 minutes about. They're shorts over on YouTube and probably available on your socials. We'll get into some of that. But real quick, before we start talking about all the documentary stuff and all that, Czarina, why don't you give us a little 101 of just what Visit Tucson is all about?
Absolutely. So Visit Tucson is a destination marketing organization. And so what does that mean? We basically market Tucson to visitors from all over the world, from all over the country. We invite them to come here, stay a while, enjoy, and our job is to really be able to show the community who we are and then show visitors that same passion that the community has.
Yeah, and this place is so welcoming. Again, as a guy who moved here back when I was younger, and then, you live here for a little bit, and maybe you move back home, and it's like, no, wait a minute. I think I was home, and I moved back to Tucson. Like, I love this place so much, I moved here twice.
Actually, doing all of these videos, and in my role, I've talked to a lot of community members that we've done spotlights and features on. And so many people are like, you try to leave, Tucson brings you back. It's home.
It is home. And a lot of it is what people do say. And some people just, if you don't know and you don't get it, then you just don't. It's about community. Some people don't know what that actually means because they don't participate in the community. Tucson gives you a lot of opportunities to really get out there and do stuff. Every single weekend there's an event going on. There are so many organizations, multicultural organizations, museums, galleries, a lot going on here when it comes to our culture and the mixed culture for what built this place that I even learned about in these amazing videos where you talk about how it all started. And we can even go look on your YouTube page real quick while we're sitting here because I got both your website up, which is visittucson.org, I believe. Don't get confused with the .com. And you can go find them over on YouTube and go subscribe because there are many, many videos, and the newest ones are all about what they're doing here in Tucson with this video series. Let me just find that playlist. Boom. The first episode was all about the Presidio San Agustin del Tucson, and that was fascinating to just learn about how it all came together. The second episode is El Corazon. It's Mexicano de Tucson, talking about what goes on next after we start to kind of settle in, and then more people are moving here. They go from like less of a fort to more of a civilian style of living. And then most recently, the Tucson, all about the land of the O'odham Nation and talking about that heritage. So let's talk a little bit about these videos, what started them, and the behind the scenes of it. What brought the idea to celebrate Tucson's 250th with this video series?
Absolutely. So I think one of the main things about celebrating that 250th anniversary is we wanted to recognize and acknowledge that Tucson has been here for way longer than that. And so we wanted to start off with acknowledging and recognizing that the Presidio was established 250 years ago this year. We wanted to talk about it, let people know what it means, what is Presidio de Tucson. But we also wanted to talk about its actual community. So the Mexican heritage is very, very huge here. We were a part of Mexico at one point. So we wanted to highlight that actual history of it. So that's why we did El Corazón Mexicano de Tucson. We wanted to pay tribute to all of our Mexican ancestors and heritage. And then we also want to acknowledge the thousands of years of history that the Tohono O'odham and the Pascua Yaqui people have here in the region. And so that's where we went with Tucson, land of the O'odham. They have been here since time immemorial, so we wanted to make sure that we included that history, because without them, Tucson would be nothing.
Yeah. And again, pardon my pronunciations for things as well. I'm from Long Island. Oh, forget about it. So let's talk about now the actual making of the film, because, you know, when it is such a big, big task, 250 years of history, what an undertaking. And Alan, how do you really boil that down into making this series? How did you break this down into what you're going to do to present the history of Tucson?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that will give you barriers for your storytelling. First of all, is what your characters actually give you, right? Mm-hmm. So I was going to say what is actually shared with you. In that first episode, we talked to Mauro Trejo, who is part of the board on the Presidio, who is just a wealth of information. And he knows all about the Presidio, all before the Presidio. And you're really, you take what they give you, and then given how much history there is with Tucson, you really have to get down to the bare bones of everything, mm-hmm. which is just almost like A plus B equals C. So really, you kind of have to cut through a lot of the more anecdotal stuff and then get down to just the information. That gives you the backbone of everything. But also, you can't ignore your characters and the people that are actually there, because we all have our own perspective and we all give that when we're telling stories. So I think that it's a mixture of those two things that give you your story. The information that they give you, but also throwing in the bits of personality that makes these people who they are. And I think that's worked really well for us so far, because it's able to some things about culture that I've learned just when doing this in this series is it's almost like the unspoken things, how you walk, who you are, where your information comes from. Those are kind of the things that you can't really, I think, express within 5 minutes. You get them in character pieces, and you're able to communicate that with video because it's visual. Yeah, that's kind of a long answer to your question, but I think it's a mixture of all those things. And what I really think is important when it comes to storytelling is that you feel what you're telling. Yeah. And I think that's kind of the spice that ties it all together.
Hey, yeah, a little spice goes a long way, I'll tell you what. That's the thing, is that when you're having these conversations, and even I experienced that here hosting this show, aren't you yourself just learning so much? It almost makes me boy, I wish more people just got to host things, I guess, because I've learned so much just about the community here in Tucson just from hosting this. But really, these videos are doing such a great job of capturing that history and the story that you're trying to tell. And there are characters that do certainly pop out. And I mean, you could hear people's smiles when they talk about the community. And even going back to that point, it's something that some people don't understand. I think that term gets taken for granted. Oh, because it's about community. It's about community. Sure, everyone says that a lot. No, we really do have a great, very well-connected community here. A lot of people do know each other. I say it's the city that's kind of like a high school. That can work to your benefit and to your negative. The networking's great, but then gossip can be a kryptonite. But the fact of the matter is that if you're a true good person, like, you'll stand out in this crowd. You know, you will really be able to connect the dots in our community and make a difference, find the thing you're looking for, and I think find the people that you're looking to hang out with, which is a lot of people here. There's a lot of options. Even as we record this now, you're coming off of a big event, Tucson Meet Yourself, which was just the weekend. How did that event go?
That Tucson Meet Yourself is my personal favorite. It really does just make me emotional every time because I'm like, look at all these people. And that's what I love about Tucson. It has been forever a multicultural hub. Since the very beginning, we've had Indigenous, Mexican, Chinese, Black. All of those histories are Tucson history. And you really get to see that at Tucson Meet Yourself. You know, it's all kinds of people sharing their culture, their traditions, and everybody gets to enjoy. And so it's beautiful to see that. And so Visit Tucson had a booth, and we were there. We were part of it, and it just felt so good to be there, seeing everybody partake, you know, seeing everybody dance to all the music. And it was beautiful, and it was busy. People love it. It's a popular festival for a reason. It's just so nice.
Oh, yeah. It's Tucson Eat Yourself. That's half the battle, right?
That too.
A lot of delicious options from the city of gastronomy. But that's the thing, is getting together is a big part of it. I always love that event. The music does stop you in your tracks where you will stop. You'll watch these amazing cultural dances. You'll watch all these great performers that do show up and show out at all these amazing events. And the other thing that's not just show out, but sold out, they sold out of all their merchandise, and I didn't get a hat today. So
it's true.
They got to come back perhaps, or I got to go down there and check everything out that's going on with Visit Tucson. Because the other big news that just happened is you just did an amazing rebrand.
We did. Visit Tucson has a new look, a new feel, and we think that this is Tucson. Before, it used to be the logo and the colors were for the DMO, for the Destination Marketing Organization. And with this rebrand, we really worked with the community on how do we make it something that we're proud of, something that we feel seen, and something that represents us. And so we're really proud of what we've done. We talked to a lot of community members. Our agency helped us have interviews with community members. We did surveys with people because we really wanted it to feel like Tucson. Before, it used to be, how do we get people to visit? Now we're like, visit or not, this is who we are.
Oh, that's the spirit. Yeah. That's right. That's how you got to do it.
Yeah.
Right? That's amazing. So it wasn't even just Visit Tucson, because your organization actually has a lot of things going for it, because there's Film Tucson, right?
That's right.
There's Tucson Sports, and there's Vamos a Tucson, which means Let's Go Tucson?
Yeah, so Let's Go to Tucson, which, that's our Mexico-facing brand.
Nice.
So like I said, we're an international brand. And so for our Mexican visitors, we have a brand that's specifically for them. Everything's in Spanish, and we have visitor centers in Mexico, even in Hermosillo and Ciudad Obregón. So, yeah, we have a lot of little pieces, like you said, Film Tucson and Tucson Sports. They're part of the community, and so they're part of the organization, and that also makes it easier, where it's like we all share the same brand, and it's this new Tucson brand that really just communicates who we are as a city.
That's important. And I'll tell you this, even go into that attitude that you do have of just like, you know what, visit or not, whatever. I'm a big wrestling fan, and they said something about their critics a little bit ago, because things have a lot of online critics, don't they? A lot of stuff does. And I think it was Triple H said, like, we care about the opinions of the paying customers. And that's a good point, because, boy, there sure are a lot of non-paying customers out there giving their opinions about things. A lot of people just complain online. Caring about the people that actually care about what you're doing, that's the opinions you do want to care about, right? You did send out surveys. You did ask the community. You interviewed tons of people. So when some naysayer shows up later and is like, what do you mean? I didn't get the memo. It's like, well, then you should subscribe to the newsletter, you know?
Absolutely. And also, I think this new brand, what we really want to convey is, like you said, we invite you to stand out. Like, when you are in Tucson, you don't have to fit right in. Like, our edges are not smooth. Like, we are who we are. And if you get it, you're one of us. And if you don't, that's okay too.
Yeah. Well, can I tell you something? Even reading that intro that was on the website, that whole thing about being different, like, I actually almost got a little choked up. That is the reason that I moved out here, was I did not fit and do not fit in on Long Island. That place is wild. There's a documentary about New York. You've all probably seen it. It's called Ghostbusters 2. The River of Slime is real. All right. It's a tough place to live. And you come out to Tucson, and boy, this place has something special about it. And it certainly is the people, but also the community and the culture. So let's talk again about some of the other videos that are going on with this series, because you also have some partner videos that are going along with these that are more about like the social videos, they're vertical videos. One of them I just watched was all about celebrating the birthday with the birthday murals and talking to Penn and talking to Joe Pagic, talking to all of our great muralists in town for some of the things that they created for that. So tell me about some of these companion videos that are going along with this. You had a hand in these as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was actually how our company, Davis Studios Media, a relationship with Visit Tucson started, was we did a video on the 100 Years of Rodeo mural.
Oh, nice. Isn't that
Ignacio,
that mural?
that Ignacio did is incredible. We got the opportunity to do a little 1-minute piece on the mural and him as well. And after that, Czarina was like, you guys are working with me now. I've got these ideas that we want to do. And we started getting in conversations with each other, and we we've come up with different videos throughout the year that are usually around what's going on during that month. And some of the stories that we've been able to, you talked about learning about Tucson. I didn't know anything about going into Tucson going into the series, and I know even less now because Juneteenth, it's 55th year.
I think it was. Yeah, no, we've done a lot of Black history, and that was incredible to learn about.
Yeah.
That it's been in Tucson for that long. Like I did not know that. We talked to Mr. K, Charles Kendrick, and we went and saw his museum that he's had in Tucson, and it's an African American museum, and some of the images that he has in there are difficult to look at. Difficult to look at.
Yeah, well, a lot of history is difficult to look at. That's why a lot of people don't want to look.
Yeah. And and one of his many, many catchphrases is that history books are written by the people that are looking to sell. And, just going into like his museum with knowing that in mind, and then being able to see and touch a lot of his items, you really get a glimpse of like African American life in Tucson over the last 100+ years.
Yeah, and it's beautiful because it's Center for Black Life, and he is very much like you can come and touch it. You can look through the books. He wants to make sure that people know that this is real and this has happened, and he doesn't want to go and have a museum where you can see things through behind a glass. He's like, no, touch it. Like, this is a book from 100 years ago, and this is how Black people were depicted back then.
Yeah.
And that was actually one of the first videos that kind of went viral on our social medias. People were craving to learn those things about our history, and I think that was the first time that I kind of realized, like, oh, people don't know the true history of Tucson. People don't realize that we had Buffalo Soldiers. We have this Black community and this Black history, and it's just beautiful. And we actually heard from his daughter, who told us that somebody from Hawaii saw the video and sent over a piece for him to display at the Center for Black Life. So that was just a really awesome story. It was like, oh, yay, this is reaching the right people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that does validate that. Like, someone saw it. Nothing like getting that validation and then someone sending you something. That's wild. Yeah. That's very incredible.
We've branched out to many, many different topics. We've talked about the Chinese community that was here. I also want to throw a spotlight on the drag community that is in Tucson, which I didn't know anything about. But the drag community, one of the like little tidbits of information that I learned is that the drag community in Tucson has raised millions of dollars for the different LGBTQ nonprofits that have been here in town. That's millions of dollars.
That's something.
Yeah, and I was just like, excuse me, like not knowing anything about it. It just blows my mind. And like the more information that we learn about Tucson and like learning about these different communities, you kind of get to see like the building blocks that have made this city what it is. And like what I also wanted to say about earlier, but it's all founded on respect. And like just respecting these different groups of people for who they are, and like giving them the opportunity to tell their story. And that's kind of like what we're able to do with this series. And it's like really powerful. And I think a lot of people are at least connecting with like their little bits and pieces of Tucson that like makes them who they are.
Yeah. I mean, you can hear the passion about what you're talking about. I mean, you sound like a filmmaker, damn it. So that's amazing because that shows you the level of respect and the point of view that this director has when you're making these videos, trying to capture these stories, and again, trying to do it in such a short amount of time. Like here is that, because we all understand what it is. That's not even budgets. That's attention span budget. That is, we do know how people work these days. Better to make a great 5-minute video, break it into a series, and talk about it like that than making a 90-minute documentary. Like, and I'll tell you what, as a guy that's done both, because your last one it's a full-length thing. What do you prefer? Do you like these shorts? Do you think a long-form documentary is? What's the difference?
I've always liked doing shorter pieces because I'm ADHD.
Sure.
So like I'm just like I prefer doing like a lot, and then as opposed to doing like the longer piece. But I do think that the sweet spot is you have the longer piece, and then you can break down from that content. You break down into smaller pieces that are used
Of course.
Promote or market like
Yep.
the longer piece. But I've always preferred the shorter pieces because you get to cut it off and then move on to the next one and then learn more.
Yeah.
Learn more.
Making things digestible is also good because you do want people, you want to hear that feedback. You want to get it. What type of feedback have you heard from people since you've launched the video series? I want more people to know about it because I really enjoyed watching it. And I know that there are a lot of people that would really love it, but maybe they just don't know it exists.
Yeah, and I think that is what it is. I think people don't know that it exists, and then they watch it, and they're like, oh my God, this is... Because anything that we've heard is like, oh, we want more. We want to learn more. We want more of these videos. People just are really enjoying learning about where they live. And yeah, I think I'm excited to get this out there and get more people learning about where you are, because where you are is who you are.
Oh, well said. Look at that. Oh, make a banner. Stitch it on a pillow. Let me ask you this now, because I watched them all. I watched them all when you had sent me, and it was just enjoyable. And then I watched them again, but then also on my way here today, it's like, all right, let me watch these again just while I'm driving. Guess what? They work really well as a podcast as well. Like just even hearing it is a way. So let me ask you, have you thought about what other forms of media are you thinking about doing when it comes to Visit Tucson, getting the word out? Have you thought about doing just also an audio version of some things to just make people more aware of what's going on here?
We have talked about it because, like you said, sometimes like podcasts, it's like, well, you're driving or something. And that's something we have been looking at and seeing if there is a demand for it. There's definitely the content for it. Like Alan said, there's so much information, all of these 5-minute videos, they could easily be 5 90-minute videos,
Right.
They're all it's the people that we have been interviewing are so chock full of knowledge. And so who knows, maybe in the future we do some podcasts because it's easier to digest. If it's like 90 minutes, you're driving somewhere. And you're like, I just got 90 minutes to kill right now. Let's learn about the Tohono O'odham community.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. Like, that's a really just pinnacle series, I bet, that could happen, both film-wise and or even then take that audio and you have the podcast version of it, right? Because there's just so many ways that we consume media now at great lengths, at short versions, all this different stuff. Again, having even the companion pieces that do what you were talking about, that even go with these 5-minute ones. You have the 1-minute ones that go with it, just to be getting that content, getting these stories, and just even scratching that itch for people to be like, hey, maybe you want to learn more. And then that's where you follow these links, go join the organization, and get involved with everything happening. So before we do close out here, where can people find everything that they need to online when it comes to Visit Tucson?
VisitTucson.org is our website. That's the main place where we have all of our new events, all of our new things. But if you follow us at Visit Tucson on Instagram and Facebook, we post all of these videos, and we do have a YouTube at Visit Tucson as well. And yeah, that's where we post everything. So follow along. Yeah, we're hoping that this just continues because the thirst for knowledge is there. So we're here to quench it.
Heck yeah. Again, well said. That's the spirit. When it comes to what's new and what is on the horizon for you, Alan, what is new? And again, just like name your company again, because I don't think we actually said it like really well.
Our business company is Davis Studios Media.
Yes.
And as far as future projects go, we hope to continue working with Visit Tucson. We're always working with the university. We're also have one of the students that we are mentoring right now is working on his short film. It's called The Glass Planet, and it's not a documentary. It's a narrative piece that's got it's a science fiction piece that has 500 visual effects shots.
That's nuts.
Yeah, and they're not just like a shot up against a green screen. They're incorporating 3D elements. Or the young professional guy El Bop, he was actually able to shoot up against a volume screen where he had created a spaceship, a 3D spaceship, and then was able to, in real time, turn the spaceship onto, or put the spaceship onto the LED screen behind it, and then go inside the spaceship, find the angle that he wanted, and then place his actor in front of it, and then shoot his scene. So we're really, really excited to see The Glass Planet come out, and we are super, super happy to be a part of it and to help elevate the next generation of filmmakers to help actualize their dreams.
Love it. I guess stitch it on a pillow again. Everyone's so quotable today. My word. And today, we made friends with multicultural marketing manager of Visit Tucson and executive producer Czarina Nafarrate, as well as director of photography Alan Davis of Davis de Dios Media. Visit Tucson is elevating Tucson as the dynamic outdoor and cultural hub of the Sonoran Desert. Thank you both so much for joining me today.
It's always a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
This was Lifestyle Tucson. Bing bong bing, time for a recap. What a great conversation to have with old friends, and especially such a great organization like Visit Tucson. So that entire series of Tucson 250, all 5 episodes, are now available, and they've got another series that they're doing as well. It's called Out There, so that looks really fun. Episode 1 available about digital detox. Just came out about a week ago. There's a few teasers for some more things that they've got going on. But I really love the don't fit right in concept of what their new messaging is, because I do feel that is what makes Tucson the baby bear's porridge. It's just right around here. And it's the people, as we said, and we really do, I think, define community for real. It's community in action, as opposed to a lot of other places that might even be just too big to have community, like those bigger cities. I've lived in a couple of those, and they don't have what we've got here. That's why we are just right. Just the right size, just the right amount of things. Maybe it's a little too hot from time to time, but you know what? Summer's everywhere. So I think we can deal with it because it's worth it for the rest of the year to be hanging out with such great company, such as these fine folks here at Visit Tucson, Czarina, and then Alan Davis. What a great conversation. What a filmmaker. You can tell he really cares about film. So go follow up, go look at these videos, go follow everything happening there over at Visit Tucson, because there's so much to see. You got Visit Tucson over on YouTube. You can follow them over on Instagram, and of course, visittucson.org. So I want to thank our new friends at Visit Tucson for joining me today. You've been listening to Lifestyle Tucson. If you're a nonprofit that would like to be on the show, email lifestyletucson@gmail.com. For more information about this program or to listen to something you may have missed, go to the Sunday Mornings page on klpx.com, kfma.com, mixfm.com, or espntucson.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and Audible, or wherever fine podcasts are. Toot tootin' Tucson's horn. Follow on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Lifestyle Tucson, because I'm your BFF, your best Frank forever, Frank Powers. And toot toot Tucson, I love you the most.